Right guys, so welcome back to Gimme Today. Today we're going to be talking about something pretty cool going on. We got the live event that's been delayed. Yes, we already know about this, but we're going to actually talk about some of the things we might see in the upcoming event and the new season of Fortnite. A lot of players actually believe the map of Fortnite will be flooded. This could be part of that Doomsday event, which is actually called the Device event. Yeah, they actually did basically coin that phrase. It's called the Device event. Not as cool as Doomsday event, but again, we've actually heard Doomsday event for many seasons now. So obviously that's not really the case, and it probably will never be called the Doomsday event. I don't know. But anyways, moving forward, yeah, the Device event, where everyone's basically saying it's going to be flooded, the whole map of Fortnite, or good portions of the map will be flooded. And we have a lot of things in the game to actually show us that. There's been posters and different things like that scattered around the map. And this has happened before when we did have other seasons that did have catastrophic events. So we have seen this kind of thing before, and it does come to light, and usually does mean something in the new season update. These posters aren't just posters most of the time. There's sometimes Easter eggs, and they'll spring up more and more often towards the ending of the season. So they're like a good clue on what's going to happen. And you do see a lot of these signs, a lot of the umbrellas, you know, showing basically something going to happen. You guys know what I'm talking about. We've seen this before many times. So this is something we might want to keep an eye out on. There's also these posters about sharks, and a lot of people really believe that there's going to be sharks in the game of Fortnite. I do want to mention to you guys, this has been something that I even joked about a long time ago in a video, and a lot of people believed it. So I don't really believe that this is coming to the game necessarily, and none of the footage that we've seen and leaks and all that has actually proven that to me. So I believe that that's just something people want to see, but may not actually get in the game of Fortnite. And the reason I don't believe it will be implemented in the game of Fortnite, sharks in the game, is because it would probably scare a lot of younger players, including myself, and I'm not that young like that. I ain't a little kitty. No, not really. Not to mention, it would make basically swimming in the water kind of more dangerous and kind of weird. And I will mention that most of the water in the game of Fortnite and the map of Fortnite currently is basically, you know, streams, rivers. And if we actually had more like ocean, basically, or bigger sea, if you will, it would be kind of weird. And I say that because it would be very hard to get from point A to point B. And that's a big part of Fortnite. When the storm's coming, you need to get from where you are to where you're gonna go. And you really have no trouble in between. If you have a shark chasing your ass everywhere when you're in the storm, how would that work? Come on now, that would be ridiculous. No, there's no way that would happen, okay? That would be even worse than the robots. The robots, remember that? The robots, when they implemented the dang robots, that was horrible. I don't think they're going to do that again. I mean, it was like the developers really tried to irritate the customer base as much as possible. And they lost a lot of people from Fortnite basically during that season, including myself. I forget which season it was. You guys can tell me in the comment section down below. The only way I can possibly see this happening is if the map actually has a total overhaul and makes more sense of why there would be sharks in the map of Fortnite. And also, it would kind of be weird that there would only be one sea creature in the entire water besides the fish, which is sharks. I mean, yeah, I guess it makes some sense. I mean, but if they don't put something else with it, it kind of stands out as the sore thumb. I guess it would be funny, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense. No, that's not to say that everything in Fortnite makes sense, because most of it doesn't. A lot of this game is just complete malarkey written on a napkin, which I've said many times. But the whole point is, if we had sharks in the game, it wouldn't really make sense for it to be all over the map. And it probably wouldn't be. The only place that currently would make sense is by basically the islands. The islands are the only place that really would make any sense at all. And that's because that's where the deeper water is. So that's not really much of the map, and it doesn't really make sense to implement a whole new thing into the game unless they drastically change the map. And if the map does get flooded like people are believing it to be, it might make more sense at that time. But then when you transit from point A to point B, when you go and travel, and you're going to different towns and cities, whatever you want to call them, towns, we'll call them towns, okay, when you go to different locations on the Fortnite map and you're trying to run from a storm, those sharks would get very annoying fast. Now, could sharks be implemented in an LTM, limited time mode? Yes, that could be something they should do. I've really been recommending them to do that for a long time. Games like Roblox have like that shark game where the big shark comes under the water and knocks you off the boat and you try to stay on it as long as you can, otherwise you get eaten basically. That is a pretty fun idea. They did that with Fortnite, which has a little bit better physics, I would say. That could be something cool, and it would actually work very well, especially if we could shoot the shark. I don't know how PETA would feel about that. You know, PETA, the animal rights people. I don't know how they would feel about that, but it could be kind of neat. But yeah, I know, everyone would be like, oh my god, Fortnite's promoting killing sharks. Like, come on, yeah, I get it. It's just a game, though. No one's telling you to go out there and shoot great white sharks and all these different rare, you know, sharks that are basically going extinct. No one's telling you to do that, but it's a video game. Should we be that ridiculous? I don't know, but I know people would. So I don't think Fortnite will implement sharks. I hope that debunks the theory for good. But let's talk about that map being flooded theory. This does make a lot of sense because we've already seen the map before in an LTM only. We should add that. Only in an LTM have we actually truly seen the map basically covered in lava, which is very similar to water. And back in the day, we did actually talk about those leaks back when that season was going on. Basically, I think it was season 8, and I was very, very excited about this whole LTM that was going on, or season 9, I forget. But anyways, I was excited because this was the first time the map was going to be drastically different from Fortnite season 1 to whatever season we were on. It was the drastic change I was looking for. The map covered in lava. Everything is basically hot. You have to move fast. The place is going up in flames. And why I mentioned that event, or LTM, is because that was the most drastic change to the map of Fortnite we ever seen. I don't think we'll ever see that kind of a drastic change again. At least not in a permanent form of the change of the map. And we didn't even see it back then. That was an LTM. So that basically means the map didn't really change that much. I mean, it did change quite a bit. There was a lot of lava all over the place, but it wasn't like it was in the LTM, where everything was going up in flames. And that was a very drastic change. By the way, these YouTubers are talking about it, they make it sound like the map of Fortnite will go through the same exact change with water, and I don't believe that to be true. Now, I don't mean that they think the LTM style where the water's going to continue to rise and you have to go to the, top and build and build and build and try to survive it like Noah's Ark. I don't think any of the YouTubers are really saying that, although I think I just said it right now. Leaks and all that, we had basically a chance to see how all the physics and stuff of the lava were going to work in the game, and they're very much the same as the fluid water system that we have now currently in the game, where we can swim in them. So it's kind of funny to me because these systems are very similar. Now, do keep in mind that was on the old Fortnite systems, or the old Fortnite game engine. Now that we have the new version, or the version 2 engine going on, which is what we're seeing with the chapter 2 debacle with Fortnite, which has been flawed, of course, as we've seen there's tons of glitches and all that, but the systems are different, and the way it handles physics and water and stuff has become a lot better, to be honest with you. It's a lot less glitchy than it was before anyway, and on top of that, it looks a lot more realistic and fluid. That's the whole idea of why the engine needed to be updated in the first place, is for certain graphic fidelities, including stuff like that, fluidity of the water systems, things like that, because the new update to the map, or the new maps that we've been seeing in Chapter 2, has basically been water-based. And why I mention this is because basically the new optimization and new engine that basically Fortnite runs on is going to basically be more fluid and more stable with the water mechanics. Before, it didn't need to be, because in water you would just drown and die. There was no real water on the map like that anyways, but you couldn't really go swimming and stuff like that. Now, why I mention this is because the biggest showcase Fortnite can do with this new optimization and new engine that the game runs on is basically to show off the water mechanics. And obviously they already showed off the shading mechanics and different things like that we already see within the game every single time we boot it up. We already see pretty visuals, but what we don't see enough of is the water-based. Fortnite currently has us swimming in the game and doing things like that, in driving boats on the water, but they can do so much more with this water physics mechanic, especially like things that are breaking within the map itself. Something like could be featured within the game instead of doing an LTM, like the dam could break or something. Something interesting like that could happen real time in the game, and that's something this game engine actually allows for, and that's something that they couldn't do previously in the old generation of Fortnite. And if Fortnite actually utilizes this, which they claimed they were going to do before they actually released the whole new update to the game and basically did the whole new game engine, they said they would do something like that within not an LTM, but an actual update in the season. So I'm curious, will that actually happen with the event? Now, they haven't done any weird LTMs like that yet, so that's why I'm saying they haven't taken advantage of it at all. Not at all. They haven't done it yet, and it's been, obviously we're going on a third season, they haven't actually utilized this big feature that they were talking about, so that's what gives me some sort of credibility that they may actually do a flooding of the map of Fortnite in real time. Hopefully you did enjoy the video, and if you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. In the comment section down below, I want you guys to tell me what you think is going to happen in the Fortnite event called the Device event, or you could call it the damn Doomsday event, and what do you guys think is going to happen in the new season of Fortnite? Let me know in the comment section down below what your ideas are. I will read them, so let me know. Anyways guys, till next time, it's been Gamer Today.